Let me start with something very simple that many people don't realize. One of the biggest reasons people wake up at night to use the bathroom is not a disease, not a serious bladder problem, and not even age in many cases. Very often, it is simply the habit of drinking a large amount of water right before going to bed. Think about what usually happens at night. Many people spend the evening watching TV, using their phone, or relaxing after dinner. During that time, they may not drink much water. Then, just before going to bed, they suddenly feel thirsty. So they grab a big glass of water and drink it all at once. Some people even drink two glasses because they believe it is healthy to stay hydrated.
Now, hydration is important, of course. Your body needs water to function properly. But timing matters more than most people think. When you drink a large amount of water right before sleep, your body cannot simply store it somewhere quietly until morning. Your kidneys immediately start doing their job. Their job is to filter your blood and turn excess fluid into urine. So while you are trying to fall asleep, your body is still processing that water. The kidneys are producing urine, the bladder is slowly filling, and at some point during the night, your brain receives a signal that the bladder is full enough that it needs to be emptied. That signal wakes you up. Many people believe waking up once or twice every night is just normal aging. But in many situations, the real cause is simply this evening drinking habit. The bladder is not the problem. The timing of the water is the problem. Imagine the bladder like a small storage tank. During the day, it fills and empties several times while you are awake and moving around. That is perfectly normal. But when you go to sleep, the goal is for that tank to stay relatively quiet for several hours so your brain can stay in deep sleep. When you pour a large amount of water into your body right before lying down, it is like filling that tank right before the night begins. Now let's think about sleep itself. Sleep happens in cycles. Your body moves through light sleep, deep sleep, and dreaming stages. When the bladder becomes full, it interrupts these cycles. You may wake up thinking, I'll just quickly go to the bathroom and go back to sleep. But the problem is that the body often struggles to return to deep sleep after that interruption. This is why people who wake up during the night often feel tired in the morning, even if they think they slept enough hours. The sleep was broken. And many times the reason it was broken started with that last big glass of water before bed. Another thing people don't realize is that drinking a lot of water quickly can actually increase urine production faster than drinking the same amount slowly earlier in the day. When the body suddenly receives a large volume of fluid, the kidneys react quickly. They begin removing the extra fluid so the body can maintain balance. That means more urine is produced sooner. I often ask people a very simple question: when was the last time you drank water before bed? Most of the time they smile and say, right before sleeping. When we change that single habit, many of them notice a big difference within days. Instead of drinking a large glass right before lying down, it is much better to finish most of your water earlier in the evening. Your body then has enough time to process it. The kidneys do their work while you are still awake, the bladder empties naturally, and by the time you go to sleep, the system is much calmer. This doesn't mean you must go to bed dehydrated. That is not the goal. The goal is simply to avoid flooding your body with fluid at the exact time when you want everything to slow down for the night. Sometimes people also drink water at night out of habit, not because they are truly thirsty. They keep a bottle beside the bed and take large sips before sleeping. A small sip if you are truly thirsty is fine, but a full glass right before sleep is often the reason the bladder starts calling you in the middle of the night. When you understand this simple idea, it becomes clear why such a small change can make such a big difference. Your body is not trying to disturb your sleep. It is simply doing what it is designed to do: remove extra fluid. And if you want peaceful, uninterrupted sleep, the first step is very simple. Stop sending a flood of water into your system right before your head touches the pillow. Now let's talk about something most people overlook, but it makes a huge difference: drinking water during the day instead of waiting until evening or night. So many people think, I'll just drink water whenever I feel thirsty, or worse, they forget to drink enough during the day and then try to catch up in the evening. That's exactly the kind of habit that leads to waking up in the middle of the night. The body works best when it's hydrated steadily throughout the day. Imagine it like a fuel tank. If you try to fill it all at once at the end of the day, it overflows, and that overflow is your bladder at night. But if you keep topping it up little by little during the day, your body gets what it needs, and your bladder isn't suddenly overwhelmed when you're lying down trying to sleep. One simple way to do this is to make drinking water part of your routine. Start with a glass in the morning when you wake up. It wakes up your body, helps your metabolism start, and begins a healthy pattern. Then, sip water regularly throughout the day before meals, after meals, during breaks. You don't need to force yourself to chug huge amounts at once. Just keep a bottle handy and take small sips. Over the course of the day, your body will get plenty of hydration without overloading the bladder at night. Most people don't realize that by spreading water intake over the day, you can actually drink less overall and feel better hydrated. When you wait until the evening to drink, your body is desperate for water, so you end up drinking more than necessary at once. That sudden surge triggers the kidneys to produce more urine quickly, and that's exactly what brings you up from sleep later. But when your hydration is steady, your body processes the water naturally, and you don't experience that sudden nighttime call. It also helps your body in other ways. Staying hydrated during the day keeps your energy levels up. Fatigue, headaches, and even a foggy mind are often linked to mild dehydration. So, drinking water regularly isn't just about avoiding night trips to the bathroom, it's about feeling better, sharper, and more alert all day. Some people make the mistake of thinking they need to avoid water too much in the evening to prevent waking up at night. That's not true either. The key is balance. If you drink enough water throughout the day, by the time the evening comes, you'll naturally feel less thirsty. You won't feel the urge to gulp down water right before bed because your body has already received what it needs. That's the smart way to handle hydration. Another tip is to pay attention to your body's natural cues. Thirst is not always obvious. Some people don't feel very thirsty until late in the day, and by then they try to catch up. By intentionally sipping water throughout the day, you avoid ever reaching that point where your body is desperate, and that keeps your sleep uninterrupted. It also makes you more aware of your overall habits. When you track your water intake during the day, you begin to notice patterns like feeling dehydrated after long meetings or after exercise or during hot weather. You can adjust gradually rather than having your bladder suddenly demand attention in the middle of the night. And it's not just about water alone. Eating water rich foods like fruits and vegetables during the day contributes to hydration as well. That's part of the reason why people who snack on fruits like watermelon, oranges, or cucumbers throughout the day often don't feel the need to drink as much at night. Their bodies are already getting steady hydration. The point is, when you treat hydration as a daytime habit, your evening and nighttime routine become calmer. You don't have to worry about drinking less and feeling parched because you've already done your work earlier. By the time that time comes, your bladder is calm, your body is hydrated, and your sleep can be uninterrupted. So the idea is very simple. Make water a daytime habit. Sip steadily, keep your body happy, and the need to wake up at night will fade. By giving your body water when it needs it most, during waking hours, you are setting yourself up for better sleep naturally. And the most amazing part is that this small adjustment can completely change your nights. Now let's focus on a small change that can have a huge effect on your nights, slowing down your water intake 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Many people think that drinking water right up until the moment they lie down is harmless, but the truth is that timing really matters. Your body doesn't stop processing water just because it's nighttime. In fact, the closer you get to sleep, the more likely your bladder will wake you up if it's full. Think about your daily routine. You finish dinner, maybe watch some TV or scroll on your phone, and then before heading to bed, you grab a glass of water. Sometimes it's a big glass, sometimes even two. You think, I'll just stay hydrated. And you are, but the timing is working against you. When you drink water right before bed, your kidneys immediately start filtering it, producing urine, and your bladder begins to fill. By the time you are ready to sleep, the bladder is already nudging your brain, saying, hey, I need to be emptied. That's the moment your peaceful sleep is interrupted. Now, if instead you slow down your water and take a couple of hours before sleep, it gives your body time to handle what you've already consumed. The kidneys can process the liquid while you are still awake, and you have a chance to empty your bladder naturally before lying down. This simple timing adjustment allows your body to prepare for a night of uninterrupted rest. It's not about drinking less, it's about drinking smarter. Many people are surprised when they hear this because it seems so small. But small changes like this are often the ones that make the biggest difference. By consciously deciding to reduce drinking water 2 to 3 hours before bed, you are telling your body it's time to slow down for the night. You are giving your bladder a chance to relax and your sleep cycles a chance to remain uninterrupted. It also helps prevent the subtle frustration that builds when you wake up repeatedly at night. Some people think waking up once or twice is normal, but waking up multiple times is exhausting. Your body needs those long stretches of sleep for deep rest, memory consolidation, and overall energy. When your bladder is calm, your mind and body stay calm, and sleep becomes restorative instead of fragmented. Another thing to consider is that evening habits often involve other beverages, like tea or coffee, which also contribute to nighttime urination. By slowing down all fluid intake a few hours before bed, you are giving your body a break from processing liquids. This break is crucial because it allows the natural rhythm of the body to take over. The kidneys aren't being pushed to work extra, and your bladder isn't being forced to act while your body should be in sleep mode. It's also worth mentioning that this approach works for almost everyone, regardless of age. Older adults sometimes notice more frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, but even younger people can experience the same issue if they drink right before bed. The principle is simple: let the body handle the fluids before sleep, and it will reward you with uninterrupted rest. One practical way to implement this is to schedule your last substantial glass of water around 2 to 3 hours before bed. During those final hours, if you feel slightly thirsty, a small sip is fine, but avoid large amounts. This small adjustment often leads to dramatic improvement. People are often amazed at how peaceful their sleep becomes after making this change. It's important to pair this timing with a simple habit: always go to the bathroom right before bed. This ensures the bladder is empty, giving you the best chance for a solid stretch of sleep. Think of it like closing the gate before nightfall. You've given your body water throughout the day, slowed intake in the evening, and now the system is ready for rest. The beauty of this habit is that it's completely natural. You don't need any special drinks, supplements, or complicated routines. You're simply working with your body's rhythm. Your kidneys are designed to filter efficiently, and your bladder is designed to signal when it's time. By respecting that timing, you make life easier for your body, and you make your nights calmer and more restorative. It may feel strange at first to pay attention to the clock for water intake, but once you notice the difference in your sleep, it becomes second nature. Over time, your body will even adjust naturally. You may find that by the evening you feel less thirsty because your hydration during the day has been sufficient, and by the time bedtime arrives, your body is ready to rest. So remember, slowing down water intake 2 to 3 hours before bed is not about depriving yourself. It's about smart timing, giving your body a chance to process what it already has and allowing your bladder to rest. This simple habit can transform restless nights into peaceful sleep. With just this small adjustment, you set the stage for nights where you can sleep deeply, wake up refreshed, and finally feel in control of your own sleep. Now, let's talk about something that many people completely overlook, but it actually has a big effect on whether you wake up at night or sleep peacefully: the drinks you choose in the evening. Most people think of water as the only liquid that affects nighttime bathroom trips, but the truth is that other beverages, especially tea, coffee, and certain soft drinks, can make your bladder far more active than you realize. Let's start with tea and coffee. These are very common evening drinks for many people. Maybe you're sitting down after dinner and you think a cup of tea will help you relax, or a cup of coffee will give you a little energy boost. The problem is that both tea and coffee contain caffeine, which doesn't just wake up your mind, it also acts as a diuretic. That means it signals your kidneys to produce more urine. So even if you only drink a moderate cup, your bladder might start filling sooner than it should, and that can interrupt your sleep. Some people think they are used to caffeine, so it doesn't affect them. But tolerance to caffeine's alertness effects is different from tolerance to its effect on the bladder. Your body may not feel jittery, but your kidneys are still responding and your bladder is still getting that signal, I'm full, wake up. That's why even small amounts of caffeinated drinks in the evening can lead to waking up in the middle of the night. Soft drinks are another hidden culprit. Many sodas and energy drinks contain caffeine and other compounds that increase urine production. Some people might think that since it's evening, a small soda won't matter. But even small amounts can trigger your bladder, especially if combined with other fluids in the day. Sugary drinks can also have a mild diuretic effect, and the combination with caffeine in many of them doubles the chance of waking up. Alcohol is another factor that people underestimate. A glass of wine or beer may make you feel sleepy, but alcohol also works as a diuretic. It tells the kidneys to flush out water, and the result is often waking up multiple times at night. Many people think alcohol helps with sleep, but what it actually does is fragment your sleep and increase bathroom trips. So if your goal is uninterrupted rest, alcohol in the evening is not helpful. It's not about completely avoiding these drinks forever. The key is timing and awareness. Enjoy your tea, coffee, or soft drinks earlier in the day when you are awake and can easily go to the bathroom. This gives your body time to process the fluid, and your bladder is not demanding attention while you are trying to sleep. By the time night comes, the bladder is calmer and your sleep is less likely to be interrupted. Even herbal teas, which people often think are harmless, can have mild diuretic effects depending on the herbs. So, if your goal is peaceful sleep, it's better to limit all fluids that stimulate urine production a few hours before bedtime. A small sip is fine if you are thirsty, but avoid full glasses of these beverages close to sleep. Another point to consider is awareness of how your own body responds. Everyone's bladder reacts slightly differently. Some people can have a small cup of tea before bed and sleep through the night. Others may find even a tiny amount wakes them up. Paying attention to your own patterns can help you figure out which drinks to avoid in the evening. By making small adjustments, like swapping evening coffee for water earlier in the day or delaying your soda or tea until morning, you give your bladder the chance to rest. Your body will process the fluids during your waking hours, and by the time you lie down, you won't have that sudden urge to wake up. It also pairs well with the other habits we've discussed: drinking most of your water during the day, slowing intake a couple of hours before bed, and emptying the bladder right before sleep. When you combine all of these, you are giving your body the perfect environment for uninterrupted rest. The bladder is calm, the kidneys have done their work, and your body can focus entirely on deep, restorative sleep. Finally, think of it as giving your body a little peace in the evening. You are not depriving yourself of hydration or enjoyment. You are simply choosing the right time for certain drinks. A cup of tea at 5 p.m. or a coffee in the morning will hydrate and energize you without disturbing sleep. But late evening drinks that stimulate the bladder are like inviting interruptions into your night. Once people try this adjustment, they are often amazed at how much more comfortable their nights become. No more groggy mornings, no more reaching for the bathroom in the dark multiple times. It's a simple shift in awareness, a small habit change, but the effect is profound. By being mindful of what you drink and when, you give your bladder and kidneys the chance to do their work without disturbing the rhythm of your sleep. And when you do this consistently, your nights become peaceful, your sleep deep, and waking up at night becomes something rare instead of a regular frustration. Now, let's talk about a habit that might sound obvious, but most people overlook, and it can make a huge difference in whether you sleep peacefully through the night: using the bathroom right before going to bed. It's such a simple step, but it's one of the most effective ways to prevent those frustrating middle of the night trips. Think about it for a moment. Your bladder is basically a storage tank. During the day, it fills and empties multiple times, and that's perfectly normal. But when you go to sleep, the goal is to let it rest for several hours. If you go to bed with even a small amount of urine in the bladder, it's enough to trigger that wake up signal during the night. By simply emptying it right before lying down, you give your bladder the best chance to stay quiet while you sleep. Many people don't even think about it. They go through their evening routine, brush their teeth, wash their face, maybe read a little, and then hop into bed. Sometimes they assume that since they went a few hours ago, it's fine. But even a small amount in the bladder can cause interruptions, especially if your body is sensitive or if you've been drinking water in the evening. Taking that extra moment to go to the bathroom can save you from multiple wake ups. It also helps psychologically. When you know you've emptied your bladder just before bed, you can lie down with confidence, knowing you've done everything you can to prevent disruption. It reduces that subtle anxiety that sometimes builds when people worry they'll wake up in the night. Sleep is not just physical. Your mind needs to feel safe and calm to enter deep, restorative cycles. Emptying your bladder contributes to that peace of mind. Some people think they can just get up in the middle of the night without it being a problem, but frequent interruptions to sleep are far more draining than most realize. Every time you wake up, your body leaves deep sleep, your muscles relax less, and your brain's restorative processes pause. By taking this simple step of using the bathroom right before bed, you avoid breaking sleep cycles unnecessarily. It's a tiny effort with a big reward. This habit works especially well when combined with the other practices we've discussed. If you've been hydrating steadily throughout the day, slowing your intake in the evening, and avoiding bladder stimulating drinks, emptying your bladder before bed completes the routine. You've prepared your body in every way possible to enjoy a long, uninterrupted stretch of sleep. It's also a habit that's easy to implement immediately. You don't need new equipment, supplements, or complicated schedules. Just make it part of your nightly routine. After brushing your teeth, before turning off the lights, take that extra moment. Soon, it becomes automatic and your body starts expecting it. Interestingly, this habit can also help train your bladder over time. When you make it a routine to empty your bladder right before bed, your body becomes more efficient at signaling you at appropriate times. You may find that throughout the night, the urge to go becomes less frequent because you're starting with an empty bladder. Essentially, you're giving your bladder a chance to reset every night. It's also worth noting that sometimes people wake up at night not because they drank too much, but because the bladder is sensitive or slightly irritated. By consistently emptying it before sleep, you reduce that baseline level of discomfort. You're giving yourself the maximum window of uninterrupted rest. Some people might think this is only for older adults, but it's beneficial at any age. Young people, especially those who drink a lot in the evening or have sensitive bladders, can also notice a dramatic difference. This habit works because it addresses a simple physical need in a smart way. Even if you have had nights of frequent wake ups for years, adding this one step can make an immediate difference. It's empowering because it's entirely under your control. You don't need special treatments or medications. You just take a small moment before bed to empty your bladder. The best part is that it complements other healthy sleep habits naturally. When paired with a consistent bedtime, a calm environment, and limiting disruptive drinks in the evening, it becomes part of a comprehensive approach to deep, restorative sleep. Your body begins to recognize bedtime as a period of rest, and the bladder knows it doesn't need to demand attention for hours. So, by making it a simple, consistent habit to use the bathroom right before bed, you're taking one of the most practical steps toward peaceful sleep, fewer interruptions, and mornings that feel truly refreshing. And once this becomes part of your nightly routine, you'll realize how such a small action can completely change the way you experience sleep.